Welcome back to the Bryce Show podcast, boxing. All right, so guys, Opetaia versus Brandon Glanton confirmed for March 8th in Las Vegas. And this is the first championship fight on Zuffa Boxing and Dana White. Now, it looks fairly interesting because they've got going, and Opetaia is one of the high-profile fighters that they signed, which, Dana White signed. And very soon they've got him a fight and, he's ready to go. Of course, this is not the fight. This is not the reason why Opetaia signed with Dana White. But it's good to see that they've got Jai, operating and they want to get him in the ring as soon as possible. But once again, we keep having the same conversation about Opetaia having to fight, subpar opponents and opponents that he will destroy easily. I look at this fight and I go, this is a mismatch, right? I look at it and go, Brandon Glanton is going to get absolutely destroyed. Just like Hussein Sin Cara got his neck broken by Opetaia a few months ago. Same thing is going to happen to, Brandon Glanton here, because we have a look up, Glanton's box rec, and let's do him justice. No disrespect to the guy, right? He's currently 21-3-0. 3 losses already. You look on his record, right? And as you can see, he beat Marcus Brown recently in Nigeria. And before that, he lost to Chris Smith. Now, boxing is not 1 + 1 = 2 because it is not styles make fight, right? Brandon Glanton could be someone that could be very dangerous and very, hard to break down, hard to beat because of maybe his style. But if Chris Smith, who I think Opetaia would beat anyway, if he's beaten Brandon Glanton, I think Opetaia will wipe the floor with this guy. So look, he lost against Chris Smith, as you can see here. And apart from that, I go on his record and I don't see Glanton beating anyone of note, anyone that we know that is a great or a very good fighter. These are all, guys that have are decent, just decent wins on his record. Nothing extraordinary, nothing, that stands out. The only credible opponent that you can give him some credit for is Chris Smith, which he lost to, right? So how is Brandon Glanton, right, going to be any sort of resistance to Opetaia? Because the critique that Opetaia gets, and that is from a lot of people that, are not so much of believers in Opetaia, is that he's not fighting anybody. He's fighting nobodies. And Opetaia fighting Brandon Glanton, and no disrespect to Brandon Glanton because he's a fighter and he gets in there and he fights. And if he gets the opportunity, I wish him all the best because, he needs to get paid. He needs to look after himself and his family. It is great. This is what I want boxers to keep doing, getting the opportunities to fight, earning money, because boxing is a tough sport. You get in that ring and you lose some of yourself. And, unfortunately, people are unalive in the ring. So every fighter that steps in the ring deserves a lot of respect. And I always give them a lot of respect. And, Brandon Glanton is no exception to that rule. But the honest truth is that this is a mismatch. Opetaia is going to wipe the floor with this guy. Brandon Glanton is no different to Hussein Sin Cara, who Opetaia beat a few months ago. So once again, the question remains, why is Opetaia not getting the fight that he needs to get, right? The unification fight, because that is why he's signed to Zuffa Boxing. And of course, you can understand it because, Zurdo Ramirez wants to fight David Benavidez. And so Opetaia is not going to get that fight. But what about Buddy Jack? Right? What about Buddy Jack? What about the WBC belt? Because someone else has it. So if Jai signs with Zuffa Boxing to get the big fight, to get the unification fight, why is he not fighting for the WBC belt? Because in my opinion, if the right amount of money is put on the table for these other champions in the division, they will fight Jai. Although I think Jai is dangerous, and I think Jai is the best cruiserweight on the planet at the moment, with the right amount of money, someone will fight him. And it seems like these guys are running away from Jai. But the reason why Jai joined Dana White is to get the big fight. But then, yet again, he's fighting, this guy, Glanton, who, as I said, no disrespect, but this guy is not going to give Jai any, resilience. This guy is not going to prove any difficulty to Jai. If anything, this is a routine win. This is a sparring session for Jai Opetaia. Right, so look, as I said, it is a fight for Jai Opetaia to get out of there, to really get going with his career with, Zuffa Boxing. And it'll be interesting to see the move that they make next, because after this fight, Jai Opetaia cannot fight anybody else but one of the big guys in the division that holds the belt. After this fight, we cannot see Jai in there with somebody else that is not one of the big guys. It cannot be. He cannot fight any, cannon fodders and guys that means nothing. But then it brings me to one question about this fight. So we know that Dana White wants to, create this whole one boxing, Zuffa Boxing in boxing, and that's what he wants to do. So the question is, what is Jai fighting for in this? Is he defending his ring and IBF titles, or are those titles put aside for Jai to fight for the Zuffa belt? Because this is all very strange and it doesn't make sense to me, because Jai Opetaia is currently a ranked, cruiserweight champion, holding the IBF title and also holding the Ring Magazine title. So if Jai, right, fights Brandon Glanton, what belt is he defending? If Brandon Glanton wins this fight, right, does he get the IBF title? Does he get the Ring Magazine title? And does he get the Zuffa belt title? It's very confusing. And this was my issue with Dana White coming into boxing and claiming that he's going to change boxing, and claiming that it's going to be one belt, which is the Zuffa belt in boxing, and boxing is going to be very streamlined. Because right now, there's a problem here. There's a new belt introduced into the division, and it doesn't say anywhere in the promotion that, Jai will be defending his world titles, the IBF or the Ring Magazine. So what is it? What is the premise of this fight? What is Jai defending? Is it just the Zuffa belt on the line, or is the other belts on the line as well? These are questions that I have, and as I said, this whole idea of Dana White changing boxing, I don't understand it. And maybe some of you guys can, provide a very good, clarity about this in a comment section, because I'll be more than happy to learn, to understand what happens here. Is Dana White confusing the whole situation, or is he adding value to the whole situation? Because for me, it's a bit confusing. There's a new belt that is introduced now in the Zuffa Boxing. Is Jai going to relinquish his belt and just hold the Zuffa belt, or is he going to be a Zuffa belt champion, IBF champion, and a Ring Magazine champion? Is that what Jai Opetaia is going to be now? I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers, and that's why I'm asking you guys, if you have any idea, if you know exactly what is going on here with this fight with Jai Opetaia, then get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it. But also, let me know what you think. My prediction is that Jai Opetaia will wipe the floor with Brandon Glanton. I think he knocks him out cold. And once again, we keep talking about the same thing. When is Jai going to fight some proper fighters? Right? We'll be asking the same question after this fight. So get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.